Hey everybody, how you doing tonight? Good to see you. Good to see you. It is just me tonight. Dave is out doing his Tough Mudder this weekend in Chicago, Illinois, and I wish I could join him, but not for Tough Mudder, just for the food. I miss the Chicago food. Little did you guys know, my wife and I actually lived in Chicago for several years, and we had a good time. We were actually there twice in our lifetime, and so I just desperately miss the food out there. But anyway, hope Dave's doing well. We're just going to do a little pop-up chat tonight. And if you guys have any questions, start asking them now, because I'm just going to start starring them up as I see them, as I'm talking. I'm just solo tonight, so I'm going to do the best I can. I know Dave held down the fort for me on Wednesday, so certainly do appreciate that. I am back from a work trip, which we were actually out at Albuquerque, New Mexico, and our work trip just happened to be at the Sandia Casino and Resort. But unfortunately, I got shut down very quickly for recording. I was just doing some panoramas to kind of get you guys to be able to see the casino, and staff was on me very quickly, so I didn't get a chance to do any kind of filming there whatsoever. I didn't want to get kicked out because I was there for a work retreat, right? And plus we were very busy anyway. I only had one evening that I had a chance to even do anything anyway, so I did play a little bit of slots. I will tell you a little bit about what they have in case you guys are ever in the Albuquerque area. Beautiful casino, very nicely laid out, have some really good selections there. There are a lot of classic old school slots, your double diamonds, double gold, triple diamond, triple double diamond, 5 times pay. All those types of games are there, multiple versions of them. I think the minimum was $1 though. They didn't really have any quarters or anything lower than $1 in those. Of course, your new double top dollar was in there. Your new double gold pinball was in there. They have 2 old school double top dollars. They're both $5 3 credits though, so I didn't play those because that's $15 a spin. But they were in the high limit room, and there was a ton of Ainsworth must hit by progressives in the high limit room. There was probably 30 or 40 of them, and yes, all of the majors were very low, so that property is definitely being hit by those scalpers or whatever you want to call them. So yeah, it was a nice property though, very beautiful. Rooms were nice. The outside area was very nice. The weather was a lot better than it is here, so I would definitely return there. I'm really sucks that we weren't able to film. There was security all over that place, and so yeah, I got caught early. So unfortunately, no videos for you guys. But again, nice casino. All right, so I'm going to start jumping into questions. We're just doing a Q&A tonight. I will go as long as there are questions up until about an hour from now, because I do need to get to bed at some point. But good to see all the regulars in there. I want to give a special shout out to Susan, always holding down the fort. And I don't know if Kevin's in here too, but Kevin also helps us out. So thanks to both of you guys. And Proud Monkey, can't forget you, my man. Thank you so much. All the usual suspects are in here. I see Robin. I see Janet. I see Jim. And I can't name everybody. Amanda's in here. Good to see you. And Lizzie. Lizzie's got some questions, so I'll star you up and we'll get to your questions. And let's see. Hey, Cowboy Slots. Hey, Brantley. Good to see you in here, buddy. And Club Mike V says, finally got time for a break from work. Yeah, that's true. It's been nonstop this week. Very, very busy. We had our work retreat, which we do about twice a year out in Albuquerque. So that's why I was there to do that. And I'm like, Dave, you got to handle the channel because I'm going to be way too busy with work. And he did a great job. So thanks to him for doing that. All right. So let's see. Let me start getting into some questions here. And I will do my best to start picking them out. They may not be in order, guys, but I will get to the questions that I see. So Raymond has a good question here. Searching slot games on Orleans website last night, I found a 25-cent 25-line game. It's a little unusual. So playing all 25 lines means 25 cents times 25 lines. That is correct. Well, that's as the maximum bet. You don't have to play all 25 lines unless it's some kind of bonus feature that requires you to bet all 25 lines. But that's pretty heavy. That's what? $25 a spin? Is my math right? I don't think my math's right. No, $6.25 a spin. Sorry, $25. Where am I getting that? That would be a 100-line game. So 25 cents, $6.25. That's pretty steep. It depends on what the game is. I'm not really sure because I don't see a lot of 25-line games these days unless they are the cartoon-style games. But let me know which game that is, Raymond, that you found. And then Jim says, hey, Mark, a WinStar bingo machine question. All right, I assume the Willie Nelson type bingo game is not as good as Lucky Ducky. Are there bingo machines to avoid? Not really. What you really want to stick with, though, is the VGT machines, because those are the highest payback settings casino-wide inside of WinStar, okay? We have inside information on that. So if you are going to play any of the bingo style games inside of WinStar, you want to stick with the VGT, which is like the Lucky Ducky, like you said, Mr. Moneybags, Hot Red Ruby, um, whatever the minor guy is. I can't remember his Bill something. Those are the ones that you really want to stick to. All the other ones a little bit different. They're a little bit more volatile. So I would stick with the Lucky Ducky and all those guys. They're really good there, and we've done pretty good on them overall. If you just factor in all the wins and losses, we've done better on those than we did on any of the other ones there. All right, Lizzie says, would you rather play 9-line pinball with 10 credits or one-line pinball with 3 credits, both 25-cent denomination? God, this is a tough one. I liked the new double gold pinball when it first came out, but I've had some pretty rough sessions on it recently. The last several times that I've played it, I've never gotten the bonus, and that one kind of gets you to chase a lot. You know, it does give you some line hits along the way, so it doesn't feel as bad as single pay line pinball, because line hits on that is very difficult. And that one is definitely pinball or bust, where you can get some decent line hits on the double gold. But again, that's $2.50 a bet compared to 75 cents a bet. So I'd probably play the 25-cent single line pinball. That's where I would go. I'm just not a big fan of the new one. All right, let me see. Let me look for some more questions in here. Robin knows the answer to this, but she's baiting me anyway. Does touching or rubbing the screen help pay out, or what about talking to it sweetly? No, I wish it did. I wish you could do some of those things, like take your card in and out, print the ticket out, put it back in. All these things that people do to try to trick the machine into paying, it's not making any difference. All you're doing is seeking out that confirmation bias, right? You're trying to see what will work, and if it does work, your brain gets triggered and basically says, I did that. By me rubbing the screen, I got the bonus. And it's funny how that happens. So I think there's something to that. There's not. There's absolutely nothing to that. They're never going to put a slot machine in the casino floor where you can do any kind of manipulation like that to better your chances. Same thing with the volume thing. Not going to happen. All right. And Susan won a jackpot. I guess you're talking about at Sandia. That's awesome. Great job, Susan. All right. And May, I think I haven't seen you in here before, so thanks for joining us. Really do appreciate it. Cowboy Slots, someone mentioned you and Mark at the casino tonight. Well, that's cool. Always love hearing that. I did not meet any fans at Sandia, but I actually was only on the casino floor about maybe 30 minutes tops. So I probably was not going to meet anybody anyway. It was a Wednesday night, so but I did not meet anybody there. But we are meeting fans a lot today. It's a lot of fun. All right. Raymond has another good question here, and I'm just doing rapid fire here, guys. I want to try not to get into this long stale of nothingness. So keep your questions coming. And if there are any topics you want to cover, let me know too. Raymond says, can you explain denomination X's multipliers to get per min bet? So we're going to be doing a video on this very soon because it is kind of confusing, especially with the games these days, right? So you always have your base denomination, and that you can see on the machine. Okay, so sometimes you can change it, but sometimes it's fixed. So let's say it's a penny machine, and it has 100 credits is the lowest minimum bet you can do on that machine. That's $1, right? So 100 credits times a penny is $1. What you'll see next to it is you might see times 2, which would be 200 credits, which is $2. And then you'll see a times 3. Those are multipliers of the base bet. Okay, so if you see a times 3, it's 300 credits and $3. So a lot of people ask, well, which one should I pick? The number one answer is always within your means, right? If you're going to play a game and your max bet based on your budget is $3, then don't ever go above $3, okay? But if you do have some wiggle room, make sure that you're looking at the bet panel and make sure you're not giving anything up by betting less, right? This comes into play when people are asking the difference between playing 100 credits on a penny and 10 credits on a dime, okay? It's the same amount, right? You're betting $1. But by betting 10 credits on a dime, you may be giving up some bonus potential or progressive potential or something like that. And you need to analyze the machine. Every machine's different, but you need to make sure you're not giving anything up. So sometimes it's better to go to the penny on the low end and do like a 500 credit for $5 if that makes you eligible for progressives and, you know, more frequent bonus rounds and stuff. But again, you have to stick with your budget, because even though you got bigger chances at those higher amounts, if it says so on the bet panel, it could be very minimal and certainly not enough to like warrant going outside of your budget, if that makes sense. So always stick to that rule. But we have a video that's going to try to explain that a little bit, because it's getting a little bit more complicated these days. That's for sure. Let's see. And Janet says, saw NJ Slots and Foxwoods playing a new Deal or No Deal. Have you seen that one? A lot of fun. Yeah, I have seen that one. And I think, who was it? Several YouTubers, but Vegas Matt did a really interesting one where they were just doing the buy a bonus over and over and over again. And so you can kind of see what the end result of it, where you basically just get right into the game show. And so if you want to go check that out, watch his video because he shows all the losses and the wins. I like how Vegas Matt does that. But it's a lot of fun to kind of feel out the game. It's not a game that I would personally play. It's just not my style. But it is picking up steam. A lot of people are checking that game out. So, all right, let's keep going. Lotsy in here. Hey, Double Diamond, good to see you guys. Thanks for doing the audit with us. Really did appreciate that. A lot of you guys learned a lot from that. So, all right, Antoinette says, can you please tell us how the card shufflers work as on the Let It Ride game? So there's different types of card shufflers. There's continuous card shufflers, and then there's just shufflers that work after each game. You might find this like with 3-card poker, where every time he puts the deck of cards inside of the machine, it shuffles for the next deal. Those are not continuous. It just shuffles one deck at a time. But the continuous ones are the ones where you see an actual machine, and they never have to refill the shoe, basically. They don't have to do the card shuffle on the deck, on the player's area, and put it into the shoe, that kind of thing. They're just continuously shuffling the cards. And the only reason this exists is really to mitigate card counting as much as they possibly can. Because if you lose count and it's continuous, right? There's never a lack of cards in there. It's taking whatever number of decks they have and continuously shuffling it. Unless you are a severe card counter that is really looking into those things, it's not going to make any difference for you. I don't stay away from table games that have automatic card shufflers like that. It's just a fact of life. They mostly do it because it gets the process going quicker. There's no downtime for shuffling, right? And casinos never want downtime in anything. Okay, that's why there's fast stopping in slot machines, is because they want you to keep going, keep betting, keep betting, keep betting. And so if a dealer has to stop and shuffle 6 decks of cards, I mean, that's 5 minutes of nobody playing. And what happens too, a lot of people get up and leave, and then the table's dead, right? So the continuous shuffler just keeps things moving nonstop. And I think that's the primary reason why they introduced those. But good question, Antoinette. All right. And Janice says, just received my new lockbox. Awesome. Yeah, we finally released those in the store. Dave did a great job of getting them all out. Yeah, he sent me a bag. We sold literally about 60 of these things, guys. A lot of you bought those. They're a lot of fun. It's a different version of a lockbox. It's not like the ones you see on Amazon and everywhere else. We custom built one that we thought would be a little bit easier to put in the pocket, especially for guys, right? Wearing tight pants or something. It's a lot slimmer. You can see it on our website at gamblesmart.net if you're interested, but it's a lot slimmer. It can hold a little bit more bills, and the lock is a lot more sturdier on it. So we're very happy with it. It's got our nice logo and everything on it. So that's kind of our first official project, and I can't tell you how much Dave worked on that. I mean, he put a lot of hours into making sure that it looked as good as it possibly could before it went out. And by buying those, it's helping you guys out, and it's supporting the channel as well. So we really do appreciate everybody that decided to buy one. So thank you. All right, let's see. And Randy C. says, hi, Mark. Glad you made it back. Dave did a good job Tuesday night, but you were missed. That's okay. It's going to happen, and that's what's nice about having a team, right? You know, one can jump in. I was still here Tuesday night, but I was completely swamped with work, and I was having to try to get some things done before I got on the plane for our work retreat because I knew I was going to lose 3 days of work, right? So I kind of had to get a little bit of things in before I got there. And so I'm like, Dave, I'm sorry, I just can't do it tonight. And he said, no problem, I'll jump in and do it. And he did an awesome job. So thanks to Dave. We are a tag team. All right. This is a good one. CM McElroy says, what are your thoughts on the report about Resorts World and allegations of money laundering? If it's true, you think we could see them lose their license? So this actually happened to MGM Grand not too long ago. I think it was maybe 6 months ago. I don't have a great deal of insight into what could potentially happen here. Number one, there has to be proof that they willingly knew about it and allowed it to continue. Okay, now if there is proof like that, then yeah, their gaming license could be on the line, and that's no funny business, right? I don't know if it'll go to that extreme. Likely there'll be obviously some firings if they did find some people that were in on it, right? There's going to be some firings and maybe some jail time or something. But that's all speculation. I don't know what's going to happen. But again, it's going to be all about the proof. Like what proof can they find? That's all I know right now. So we will see. Let's see. Let's see. Thunder Sports Card 7 says, "Hi, I'd like to ask: is Hot Wheels a bingo game or is it a slot machine?" Let me look real quick. Let's see. Hot Wheels. Let's see. Is it called? Yeah, I can't find. Oh, are you talking about Wicked Wheel? Because if you're talking about Wicked Wheel, that exists in both Class 2 Bingo and Class 3. If you're talking about Wicked Wheels, which is kind of the Hot Wheel. The way you can tell is to look on the button deck itself. I think on this one, on the button deck, you will see a bingo card. If you see that, then it is a Class 2 bingo style of that game. If you don't see that, make sure you also check in the game rules just to see if you see any bingo patterns or something in the game rules, and that'll also tell you that it's Class 2. But just because it's Class 2, don't feel like you shouldn't play it, okay? There's this big misconception out there that you can't win on Class 2 bingo machines and that it feels different. Especially the newer games coming out, they've put insane lengths into making it feel and act just like the Class 3 game, because people are very familiar with the gameplay, right? They know how frequent the bonus rounds come around, what the bonus rounds typically pay, that type of stuff. So their goal is to make sure the game feels as much as the Class 3 counterpart of the game. So just because it's Class 2, don't shy away from it. So, and Franklin says, love the Discord. Yeah, so all you guys that are members, if you didn't know, we have a live chat service. I have not been in there much lately. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to get in there a little bit more. I'm just way too busy these days. But we're all in there, big family. It's for members only, so if you are a member or you were gifted a membership, make sure you check our community tab on YouTube for the latest post about the Discord invite link. And we're going to be kind of changing that up a little bit later about how to get invites and stuff like that. But for now, that's what it is, that you can jump in there and chat with us. So we have a good time in there. And everybody goes in there and shares their wins and that kind of thing. All right. And Mini Soda Slots says, at my local casino, there's an older top dollar machine. It's a 20-line, 50-cent denomination. Any idea when those were made? Is that the video version? Because I think it's a 25 line. Yeah, I think it's a 25 line. It's a video version where you have to get 3 of the top dollar bonuses, but they also have it in a non-video version. But that's the only 25 line. I don't know of a 20 line version. I just can't remember anyone like that. There's basically a 1 line, a 5 line, a 9 line, and a 25 line. That's all that I know of. But that's a pretty steep bet, though. If you have to play 20 lines at 50 cents, $10 a bet, that's pretty steep. And for that one, you really do need to bet the full amount to get the best chances at the bonus. All right. Antoinette saying, when will you going to be going to Foxwoods again? We don't know. We're going to be at WinStar. We're going to be making the official announcement soon, but I'll go ahead and kind of spill the beans a little bit. We're going to be doing a meetup at WinStar on Saturday, September 14th at around 7:30 p.m. We will have all the details a little bit closer to time. Whenever Dave gets back, we'll iron it out. And by next Wednesday's live, we'll have it all official. But we're going to do an unofficial meetup because WinStar did not want to work with us. They wanted us to pay for everything. It's like, no, we don't need anything. We just need you to allow us to meet up with a group of people. So we're going to do it anyway. We'll just do it on the casino floor, right? So we'll go out there and do that, but we'll have some details soon. But as for Foxwoods, well, we're trying to go one place a month if we can swing it. We both have full-time jobs, guys, so you got to remember that any travel that we do, it's purely on the weekends. But we're going to be at WinStar in September. We're going to be at G2E in Las Vegas in October for our huge meetup. And then we will be looking for where we're going to go November and December. I personally do not like traveling to the Northeast over the winter because it's easy to get stuck there due to storms and stuff. But we will see. So just keep us posted, or we will keep you posted when we think we're going to be out there. But thanks to Antoinette. We're going to try to get out there again for sure because it was a lot of fun. All right. And let's see. Oh, Franklin's heading to Coshada in November. I loved Coshada. Out of the whole trip down there, that was my favorite place by far. Good selection of machines, good non-smoking room, low denominations, lots of machines to pick from, good atmosphere. Drink service was on point. Everybody was friendly. We had zero issues. We were able to go live there. Nobody approached us saying you can't film. They were very friendly. They told us good luck. Coshada was definitely one of the nicest places that we visited in Louisiana. We will definitely be back. I'm not sure when, but we will definitely be back. So good luck out there. All right, Jodes isn't here. That's my wife. She's holding down the fort for me. Thank you, Jody. Let's see. And BB Luck, I saw you were asking when we'll be back to Foxwoods there, so we will see. Irene says, can't wait to meet and greet in October. Yes, you know what? I'm going to actually look to see how many people we're up to, guys, because we were getting very close to our limit of 100. Because once it reaches there, you can still come, but no free goodie bag. So let me see where we're at while I'm talking here. But yeah, so we will be doing our big meetup on October 7th, which is during G2E. It's the first day of G2E. We're going to be taking over. It's lots of fun. Again, whether they like it or not, because they didn't get back to us either. They were not interested. So we weren't asking for money. You know, we were just saying, hey, can you help us out? You know, we're going to bring over 100 people in here to gamble. It's stunning to me, but whatever. We're going to do it anyway, right? So let's see where we're at. Oh, we're way up there. So looks like we have 86 people attending. 86 people, so that only leaves 14 spots left for the free goodie bag if you attend. So you have to be there to get the goodie bag, but if you are interested in coming, let me put the sign up right here. That at gsgs.live/G2E, and that'll give you all the details about the date, time, and also a link to the sign up form. So now for all you guys that did sign up, there's going to be an email going out this week. Okay, we will remind you on Wednesday also to look out for this email, which will have all of the details into it. So I know a lot of you signed up and you're like, I didn't get a confirmation or anything. We got it. We got your email. We will be sending everything out this week, so stay tuned for that. But we're super excited about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, I missed a super chat here. So Midlife Crisis Casino, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Sorry I didn't see that earlier. It's hard with just one person. I saw a video of a guy playing Ainsworth must hit buy at 1 line and 5 credits, hitting good lines and bonuses. What's the difference between 1 line and 5 credits versus 5 lines at 1 credit? You're just reducing the number of potential pay lines, right? I would always recommend doing the 5 line, 1 credit per line, which is basically a 5 credit bet. That's my sweet spot. I don't like playing the 10 lines or the 20 lines, but I think it's important that you at least cover 5 lines, because even though you can get the bonus because it's scattered, even though you can get the bonus betting 1 line, during the bonus round, only line 1's going to pay, and that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get any kind of hits, so I would stay away from doing that. But thank you so much for the super chat. Really do appreciate you. And I see another one here from Teresa. Let me get it up here on the screen. Well, you guys are busy in the chat here. Teresa Mast, Canadian $10. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Hi, Mark and Dave. I just want to thank you both for sharing your knowledge and tips. I enjoy watching your channel. Keep up the amazing work. Teresa, we see you in the comments section all the time on all of our videos. We really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat, Teresa. You're awesome. I'm glad we can definitely help. So that's what we're trying to do. All right. Oh, some good questions in here. Bernadette says, are you looking forward to anything at G2E? I am always looking forward to G2E. This is where all of the manufacturers reveal some of the new games that could be coming out. Most are, but sometimes they put some out there that aren't quite sure they're going to be out or released yet, which is always kind of fun to see. It's like going to a car show, right, where they do all the concept cars. A lot of them won't make it to the floor, but it's fun to see what these manufacturers come up with. It's kind of like that here. But you also get an early sneak peek at some of the machines that are going to be coming out in the next couple of months. So typically you see a big surge of stuff at G2E, and then whatever you see there that's coming out will probably start hitting the casino floors early January through May of the following year. So that's when we'll actually see it in action. But we get to see it ahead of time, see what they come out with. So I'm super excited about that. I always love geeking out on the new stuff. Let's see. Let's see. Murray Philip Phipps says, "Do you take how to fix slot machine questions on this channel or on your home slot channel?" I do, but I got to be honest, guys. I get so many emails with people asking for help on their slot machines. I'm only one person, and I do all this for free, right? So I will do my best to help you if you have any slot machine questions, but I really have to put priority on the people that have bought machines for me, and that's always going to be the case. So if it's quick and I can respond and say, "Hey, you need to do this," I'm happy to help. So you can contact me either on here or the Home Slots channel, and I'll do my best, or I'll at least point you in the right direction on some resources that you can look up. So let's see. Brantley says, "Come to Wyoming in January." No, that's not happening, Brantley. I don't want to get stuck there. Yeah, that's definitely a way to get stuck there. And there's only one flight going in, and it's at very late at night, so that's just even more riskier, right? Let's see. Let's see. Robert says, "Hit Cherries Jubilee for the first time, but machine's not hitting. Only saw one other person hit it." Yeah, they're never guaranteed, and we get so many questions about Cherries Jubilee. Do I still think it's one of the best slots to play? Absolutely, but you got to set your expectations right. Okay, I like to say it's the best chance of hitting 1,000 credits on a 3-credit bet, hands down. That's the truth. Okay, if you're gonna bet 3 credits or $3, really good chance of hitting $1,000 or 1,000 credits, but it's not guaranteed. It could still take, over $1,000 to hit that, right? And we know that just because of how high some of those have climbed, right? So here's how I always recommend, and Dave is exactly the same way. When we play Cherries Jubilee, we commit to $200 or $300, and if we don't get it, we get out, right? Do not chase it. It's not going to be a guarantee that you're going to hit it every single time. I think my best case is, out of the times that I hit it, maybe about 20% of the time that I'm there, I will hit it. That's kind of my average, right? 1 out of 5 times I will hit it while I'm there. But again, it's a good machine if you want to try to hit those 1,000 credits. But there's really not anything in between, right? Mixed bars pays 5 instead of 10. 3 single bars pays 15 instead of 30. That's the trade-off, right? Those are the trade-off that you have to deal with, is that you're getting lower pays on the non-jackpot hit, but you have a decent chance of hitting that jackpot. So you should always treat it that way when you approach those. Don't get stuck trying to chase it. All right. Let's see. I'm just scrolling back to some of these here. Bill A. DFW says, Mark, is it true to play Class 2 when the casino's less crowded? Makes no difference. There are so many myths with Class 2 machines. It's crazy. It's even worse than the Class 3. Time of day, how many people are playing. Look for game, only play when the patterns are full, or when the game call out is full, or only when it starts over, and all these kind of things. It's just as random as a Class 3 machine. And the way I try to approach this is, yes, it's a game of bingo, but imagine you going up to the bingo caller or the bingo cashier, and instead of saying, "I'd like 3 bingo cards, please," you ask for 100,000. Okay, and so you're sitting at your table or your spot at the table playing bingo, and you have 100,000 cards stacked in front of you, right? Every time another number is called, you take another one off the stack and see if it matches anything. And then you throw that away if it doesn't. And then you take the next one off, and then the next number is called, and you look at it. That's basically what's going on. There's a lot of randomness going on. The number of balls that have been called, how many cards are in play, all that kind of stuff. So what the Class 2 server is doing is basically just distributing the prizes in a way that it will equate to whatever the payback percentage is on the game that's running, right? And so it's all about hitting the button at the right time, just like in a Class 3 style. So unfortunately, there's no way to game that, right? There's no way to say if it's less crowded, you're going to get bigger prizes given out, stuff like that. It's not going to work that way. So I wish it did. But so many people believe in that because I've heard all the stories. All right, let's see. Thank you, mods, for posting the link to the lockbox. Really appreciate it. Pokey Bandit says, filled mine up at WinStar today. All right. Love seeing that. It's always fun to come home and unlock that and see what kind of goodness you got in there, right? So, Indy Style says, hey, Mark, got back from playing on the Vegas Strip last night. Budgeted $500 for 2 nights. Okay. Tried all your tips and still lost. Couldn't get any good bonuses. How do you deal with losses? Well, I mean, this is really good. I'm glad you put that out here because, like I've said before, there's no guarantee. You can follow all of our tips and still lose. We do. Okay. We follow our tips and still lose. It happens. What this is doing, though, is teaching you control. And over time, if you stick with it, like the one thing I don't want you to do in these styles is to say, this is BS, this doesn't work, I'm going to go back to just picking whatever, and maybe that'll work better. If you stick with it, it will eventually work out, right? So you're talking about bonuses. I'd be interested to see what machines you were playing that had bonuses. If you're playing a lot of the cartoon games, like the penny machines with bonuses, those are not good. You probably should not be sticking with those. You should be playing something else. So let me know in the comments. I'll see if I can get back to it. But just in general for everybody, how do you deal with losses? It sucks. You got to just stop, right? If you end up with a losing session, you go out to Vegas. Hopefully you still had a lot of fun, right? Entertainment is always number one, right? As long as you had a lot of fun, you got to play a good selection of machines and all that, that's great. You're probably going to get some comps when you come back the next time. You get a free night or at least, some free or a discounted night or free food or something like that. So it's not all completely losses. And maybe you can go back and try again. But you do need to realize that when you do have losses like that, you got to just stop. You can't just go to the ATM and try it again, like take another 500 out and say, I'm going to try this again. You got to just stop, right? And wait for the next trip, and hopefully the next trip goes better. So, but thanks for your comment. Really do appreciate it. Let's see. Oh, and Bill, I saw that you did a super chat asking the same question. So let me put that up here. And we answered that before. So, Bill, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Really do appreciate you. You guys are awesome tonight. Thank you. All right. What else we got? And Michael K has a good question. Are games still being developed that can have an advantageous state? Yes, they are. That may change, though. That may change. There's been several meetings recently about advantage play games and what those players are doing to the casinos and the average gambler. And a lot of casinos are starting to kick those people out or just completely get rid of advantage type games, right? So I think you're going to see a shift very quickly within the next couple of years away from that. But they're still being developed. But I think there may be putting some brakes on it soon. It's very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. We will see. All right. World Rewind says, I saw a YouTube short stating that slot pros can predict a big jackpot within 10 spins. If true, can you explain how? It was Nicky, the tattoo-covered guy. He claims he's a gambling pro. Thank you. It's BS. I'm sorry. It's totally BS. The only way that you can predict a big jackpot within 10 spins is if you are playing a must-hit by progressive machine, and that major is within 10 spins of reaching the max amount. I'm talking about if it must hit by 10,000 and it's at 9998, then in 10 spins, it's going to hit, right? That is the only way that you can tell that a big hit is coming, right? There is nothing you can do to predict that. If he claims that he can do it, instead of doing a short, ask him to do it live, unedited, and see if he can predict it, right? He can't. I promise you he won't be able to. So, yeah, be careful with that. There is no way to do that. Slot machines do not have predictability. It's the reason they have RNGs in them. It's the reason those RNGs are tested heavily so that they cannot be predicted by anybody. Nobody knows what's coming next when you push that button. You don't. The casino doesn't. The slot attendants don't. Even the manufacturers don't know what's coming next, okay? Without that specific scenario at the must-hit buys, there's no way to tell that something big's about to happen. So that's a trap, right? You got to be careful because people will hear that and then they'll think, if I just replicate what that guy does, then I can get a big jackpot within 10. He's like the slot whisperer, right? So, no, that can't happen. Can't happen. I'm sorry. All right. Low roll in Detroit to Vegas. Mark, if you could play only one, do you prefer playing Class 2 or Class 3? Wow, that's a tough question. I like both. Um, I think I get more excitement out of Class 2, though. I got to be honest. I love how I can read the bingo card now, at least better. I'm not a pro yet, but a lot better than I used to be. And I love it. I love being able to see that and then kind of guess what's about to happen. It just adds a whole nother element to it. And I enjoy Class 2 a lot, but I like Class 3 machines too. It's kind of hard. That's hard to pick. And it looks like Robin, just having fun, gifted 10 Gamble Smart memberships. That is awesome. Congratulations to all you guys that got the gifted membership. Remember, Robin puts up the cash for that, for you guys to enjoy 30 days of our membership. So really do appreciate that, Robin. You are a star. Thank you so much for doing that. And for all you guys that just got gifted the membership, congratulations. It's completely random by YouTube. I don't get control, and Robin doesn't get control over who gets it. But make sure you go check out the membership tab or the community tab on our YouTube page and look for members only content. That's where we post all that stuff. So thank you very much. You're so awesome. All right. Raymond's good question. How would you know the max progressive amount? Okay, so on must hit buys, it is stated on the machine either where the progressive number is or in the game rules. Okay, if it's a must hit buy, which means that it has to hit by the time that number gets to a certain point, it will be clearly stated in the game rules or on the glass. Usually, it's on the glass right next to the progressive amount, the progressive meter. If it doesn't, then it is not a must hit buy, and that thing can grow and grow and grow because every single spin is completely the same odds of hitting that progressive as the previous spin. Okay, sometimes they max out. You know, you see people talk about maxed out majors and stuff on Dragon Link and Lightning Link. That just means it's reached its maximum amount that it can pay out at one time, right? But that doesn't give you any indication that it's due anytime soon. It could take a long time to hit still, okay? So there you go. All right. Let's see. And Nettie Girl has a very good question. Is it true that the slots in Washington State are based off of the lottery scratch ticket system? Yes, they're called VLTs, virtual lottery terminals. They look like slot machines. They behave like slot machines. But the randomness is coming from literally kind of like scratch tickets, right? They're just feeding scratch tickets into a machine and it's spitting them out. But again, try not to get caught up too much in that because it's all just a different way of generating randomness to fall within the rules of the government of that state. So that's why they do it there. I hear things are changing in Washington. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it sounds like Class 3 is starting to be introduced into Washington State. So we will definitely start to see some changes there. So, all right. And some examples, World Rewind, I saw you had a question here just real quick about must hit buy amounts. A lot of the Ainsworth does. AGS has some too, but Ainsworth are probably the most popular. This is your Mustang Money, Thunder Cash, Eagle Bucks. Not a lot of casinos have these, though, so you may not see that in your local casino. And even the Las Vegas Strip doesn't have a whole lot of them either, but some casinos, there's a lot of them, okay? I just saw a bunch at Sandia in Albuquerque. Seven Feathers up in Oregon has a bunch of them. WinStar has the most I've ever seen, for example. So you just kind of have to look at it and see. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go back a little bit and look at some of the other questions that you guys asked. That's a good question, James. If I wanted to start a slot machine company that can compete with Aristocrat, where would I start? Do you do consultation? I wouldn't know, buddy. I wouldn't know where you would need to start. I mean, you would have to have serious cash. Serious cash. This is not a good time to start your own manufacturing company because a lot of them are going out of business and being bought up by the others. And the thing is that it's not just about manufacturing the machines. They have to deal with compliance. So you have to have a compliance wing inside of your company. You have to have a law firm associated with your company. A lot of people have lawyers on site. It's a very big thing. It's not like just manufacturing wheels to put on a car. It's much different. There's a lot of legalities and a lot of compliance that goes into building slot machines. So you'd have to build all that up. And so it's a huge undertaking. I'm not telling you don't do it. You should always go and chase your dreams, but you're going to have some serious capital to even consider starting to do something like that. Plus, you got to get approval. You can't just start that company and expect your machines to just start being sold, right? You got to get approval, and then you have to convince, you have to convince casinos to start buying your machines, which is what G2E is, about. But there are some small ones out there, but it's very hard to get penetration into the casino floors because Aristocrat, IGT, Ainsworth, Light and Wonder, these guys are so huge, and those are the games that everybody wants to play. And so they're kind of the top of the game. It's hard to compete with that. But chase your dreams. I'm not telling you not to. Let's see. This is a good question. Living life loving. 3-hour drive to Delta Downs or 3-hour drive to Class 2 in Livingston? Go to Delta Downs. I would go to Delta Downs over Livingston. Class 2, they don't have a whole lot there, right? I have not been to Livingston, but I've seen a complete walkthrough video of it, and they don't have a lot of machines that I would play. In fact, I don't think there's any that I saw in there that I would play personally. They're Class 2, but they're not even VGT style like I like. So I would definitely go to Delta Downs. Good, huge selection. It's smoky in there. I understand that. But they have a huge collection of old school slots, quarters, dollars. Very good collection there. There will be plenty for you to pick from. So I would definitely do that. All right. Another good question from Antoinette. I know there are slots or random generators, but if you're in the middle of a ball bonus, say Dragon Link, is the outcome predetermined, or if you take the time hitting the button in between, will it change? Okay, very good question here. So the outcome is not predetermined on the spin and hold features, or lock and hold, or hold and spin. I think I always say it backwards. So hold and spin features like that. It is not predetermined what the end result is going to be. Every single spin is a separate RNG stop. But the way it works is that the more balls that you have collected, it becomes harder and harder for other balls to be collected because the real strips are getting bigger and bigger, okay? So the RNG has much less to pick from if you're down to only 3 balls left, for example. And so that's why it gets increasingly more difficult the longer you go inside of that bonus round. But it's still very much a random. Now, whether I see so many people that think that they can stop it right when the ball is coming down, you can't do that, okay? The moment you press the button to initiate that next spin, it's already decided what's going to show up. You just haven't seen it play out yet. Okay, so fast stopping, trying to look really close and get in there to try to snag that ball, that's not making any difference whatsoever. But that's basically what's going on in those hold and spin features. Very good question, though. All right. All right, Ben says, I was playing an old double diamond machine, malfunctioned. Very old slot tech fixed it. Next spin, I hit 777s. I tried to tip him, but he says he's not allowed to accept tips. What gives? Yeah, slot techs are not allowed to give tips, unfortunately. Only slot attendants on the floor or anybody else, like the cleaners and stuff like that. But slot techs are highly restricted from receiving tips. And it's mostly because of the stigma that people get. Like if I tip the slot tech, maybe he can open up the machine. He can't, but maybe he can open up the machine and tweak something to make me win. And because that stigma exists, it's widely known that, slot techs are not allowed to receive any tips or money changing hands and things like that. But yeah, I mean, this is a good case for a lot of people feel that when slot techs or when a machine malfunctions, it's because the casino doesn't want to pay out. But this was actually the reverse. He fixed the machine and then you happen to get lucky on that next spin and it paid out. So again, it doesn't make any difference. When a slot tech comes up to machine and fixes a tilt or something, there's nothing changing, right? It's not changing your odds. He didn't go in there and flip a switch or anything like that. That's not possible. It's just about timing, the time that you hit that button. You just have to hit it at the right time. That's happened to me before where the reel tilt or somewhere the reel just keeps spinning and they come and they close the door and then suddenly I get a top dollar bonus. It was already decided that was going to happen. But it's just kind of a coincidence that it was, the malfunction occurred right then, so. But yeah. All right. Let me get back to the questions here. 270 in here, guys. Thank you so much. I'll try to keep going as long as I can stand not having water. All right. Let's see. Okay, sorry guys, just looking through. Okay, Troy says, what does it mean when you are being watched while playing and winning in a casino? Are they trying to make a player uncomfortable to make them leave? Um, okay, there's a few scenarios of this. Playing slots, no difference. Somebody's watching you playing slots, it's not for any reason whatsoever. Okay. Now, on table games, it's slightly different. Okay. There is something called being backed off. And what backed off means is that they suspect that you are doing some kind of advantage play, like at the blackjack table, counting cards, things like that. It's not illegal, but they have every right to back you off, which means they can ask you to leave. Okay. They can ask you to, you cannot play blackjack here anymore, that type of thing. That is definitely a reason why some casino executives might be watching you, just to see how your play is. And plus, they're also looking for cheaters, and cheaters are not going to occur on slot machines. They're going to occur on table games, okay? But if you're playing a slot machine and somebody's staring at you, it's not for any reason whatsoever. So, but they can't just make you uncomfortable. Listen, casinos want you to stay as long as possible, right? Because the cardinal rule is the longer people play, the more likely they're going to burn through everything that they've won, right? That's just the way it is. Keep them playing long enough and they will get all their money back, right? So it's kind of the opposite. But if they suspect you of cheating or doing something that's against their policy or rules, then yeah, they may be staring you down to get you to do something. So that's the only reasons I've ever heard of. All right. And Bill says we need 100,000 subscribers in the word. Yes, we do. That would be so amazing. I don't know when that's going to happen, but we're growing at a good pace, and it's all thanks to you guys. You guys are sharing our videos and subscribing and liking, and that makes all the difference to us. That's all we want, is to try to educate as many people as we possibly can. We've got a lot of stuff to share, and we try to do it the best way that we possibly can. And by liking and sharing and subscribing, that's free, right? Doesn't cost you anything to do those things. Yeah, we have memberships, but that's just for people that want to go the extra mile. We do not expect that from any of you guys, okay? We appreciate it, but we don't expect it. We want you guys to watch our free content, but liking, sharing, and subscribing is 100% free, and that's what really helps us out. It helps us to grow and to keep doing things and getting out to see you guys, all right? It's giving us some money in the bank account of our business to come out and fly and see you guys and do events and do giveaways like this big one we're going to be doing in October, bringing you guys a bunch of gifts. Like, this is what we want to do with the money that we earn, is to give back to you guys. So thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. All right. Let's see. Kirk has a good question. Hey, Kirk, I haven't seen you in here before, so thanks for stopping by. Can I use my player's card and enter my money and let my wife sit and play? Yeah, usually that's okay. I would still stay around, though, because if she does hit a hand pay or something, there might be some confusion. And you really have to check on the rules of the casino, because every casino is a little bit different with this. But if you're husband and wife, this is not so much a big deal. But what they don't want you to do is to, let's say, hey, Dave, I'm going to loan you my WinStar card. Go up there and use my free play for me. They don't want that, right? And that could lead to some trouble. They may decline your wins and things like that. So if you're husband and wife, I think it's okay to do that, as long as you're there somewhere in the vicinity, right? I wouldn't just send her up there with your card, because that could cause some confusion. But, just ask the casino. That's a good question you can ask the player's desk and present that scenario to them. All right. And Tammy Rose has a good question. Where do the slot machines go when casinos pull them out? Very, very good question. So a lot of casinos just put them in warehouses for a long time because they never know when they want to pull some of them back out. But typically what happens, especially with the older machines, they end up in places like me, where I have them behind me. So what happens is dealers, the public cannot buy directly from casinos, but there are several dealers out around the United States that buy them by the truckload. They basically bid on them, right? So the casinos get rid of the slot machines, and then they're like, we want to sell a lot of 120 of them, okay? They give them a list, and then they ask for bids from these dealers to buy them all. It's not just onesie twosies. It's like, you got to buy them all, 120. And then they literally bring them back on a semi to their wherever their dealer location is. I have 2 or 3 dealers that I personally work with. That's how I get the machines that I get to repurpose and sell. But that's kind of how the process flow works. And it's sometimes difficult to get the machine you want because you never know what's going to be on that truck, and you never know what that dealer is going to be willing to sell and for how much, right? So There you go. That's kind of how it works. But on the newer games, like the ones that look very expensive, you know, the big tall screens, usually the themed ones, like the Willy Wonkas, the Wizard of Oz's, all those, Wheel of Fortunes, those the casino never owns. They're just leasing them from the manufacturing. So when it's done with the machine, they send it back to them and get another one in place. So that's what goes on. All right. All right. Really good questions in here, guys. Thank you so much. My goodness, it's hard to do this without Dave. All right, let's see what else. Wolf Tracks, very good question. Mark, if I want to play downtown and off strip in Vegas, what, in your opinion, is the best place to stay? Downtown, I would stay at Circa, but I would play at Four Queens. That would be my choice, which is right across the street from it, basically. Just a couple of blocks away. Not very far. So that's what I would do. As for if you're off the strip, I wasn't really in love with a lot of the properties off the strip when we did our recent videos off of there. There wasn't one that I was like, oh, definitely I will go there. But I think South Point was pretty close to that. Really good property. It was very big, very spacious, wasn't smoky at all. The buffet looked outstanding. The restaurant there, too. They do have a good collection of older school slots, not a huge collection. They're kind of backed by the bingo hall. But that would be the only one kind of off property or off the Las Vegas Strip that I would go. But Circa downtown for sure. I think that's a good way to go. Four Queens is amazing. If you haven't been to Four Queens, guys, great collection of machines in there. It is smoky. It's the downtown small casino, right? But great collection of old school machines, all in quarters and dollars and 50 cents. Beautiful. Love it. All right, let's see. Just looking for a couple of other ones here. If I missed your question, feel free to ask it again, and I'll see if I can pick it up. It's too hard to scroll back at this point. Oh, David, $10 super chat from Canada. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate you, man. Thank you. Always appreciate these live streams. All right. Thanks so much, guys. I know you guys missed me, so I wanted to do another stream. Dave, unfortunately, wasn't able to join me tonight because he's doing his Tough Mudder up in Chicago. But I felt I could at least give you a night for you guys that are stuck at home. Want to get some knowledge passed down. Let's see. Living Life Loving repeating, what's the oldest top dollar you found in Lake Charles? Well, probably the original top dollars. They were all over the place in Lake Charles. Delta Downs had some. I think the regular top dollar started at $5, but the double top dollar started at $1. So that was pretty nice. But LaBerge would probably have the best selection of top dollars, and they even have the 5-line top dollars, which you know I love. And they had those in quarters, 50 cents, and dollars. So LaBerge is probably the place to go for top dollars. That's where I would go for sure. But Delta Downs does have a couple. All right. Very good question. Thanks for asking it again. Really appreciate you. Let's see. And Jeremiah said, I hit a couple of hand pays this month. Was my first ever. Wow, that's awesome, right? When it rains, it pours, right? July 18th was my very first, and I've hit 4 cents in a month. I never took taxes out. Oh, no. Oh, you should have done that, my friend. If I hit again, can I have them keep the whole amount for taxes? No, unfortunately, you can't do that. So at this point, you're going to have to start reserving, reserving some of that money to pay taxes next year. There are some exceptions if you end up winning in jackpots that you didn't have taxes taken out. If you end up winning more than what the standard deduction is, you could. I'm not saying you can, but you could deduct your losses. But check with your tax preparer for more information on that. I can't really give you tax advice, but you may be okay. But guys, if you're new to hitting hand pays, you really have to take the taxes out, especially if you're not going to be playing heavy, because you're going to get stuck with that, right? And it's going to suck to pay 24% tax on your winnings next year with your taxes, right? It sucks. So you don't want to do that. You want to get it taken out right then so you don't have to worry about it. But no, unfortunately, you can't say, "Hey, I forgot to take out the taxes on the last one. Can you just double this one?" They can't do that, unfortunately. So you just have to research, or you can prepay the IRS too. You can do that. All right, but if you hit your hand pay, congratulations. If you've hit 4 more right after that, that leads me to believe that you might be betting higher. So I'm not saying you are, but that leads me to believe you are. So remember to slow down, right? It's very easy once you start hitting those hand pays because it's exciting. It's an exciting process, right? But you start to creep up thinking, wow, this is really easy to do if I start playing $25 machines. Yes, it is, but that may not be what your original budget was. Just because you've won hand pay money, you should not just start upping your bet, which so many of us do. That's very dangerous. You got to be aware of that. So stay cool. Whenever I hit a hand pay on a machine, I go back and I play the cheapest machine I can find that I can stand playing for a long time to kind of come down off of that, right? So I usually go play a penny machine or a quarter machine or something like that if I ever hit a hand pay. You should really do the same and stick with it like that. Don't get the urge to go back, because when they come to pay, you guys have all you guys have had a hand pay before. What do they always tell you? Well, we'll see you soon. Hope you hit a bigger one. Hope your luck continues. And they say all these things to you to encourage you to just keep playing at that level or higher, right? So try to ignore that and just say, no, I'm going to go to take a break right now, which you should be doing after a hand pay anyway. So, but very good. Congratulations on that. Awesome. Let's see. I saw you guys were asking about the silver strikes, which is where you get the actual silver coins. I don't believe, yeah, Proud Monkey confirmed they are not back in Four Queens yet. Four Queens had the most amount of them. I think there was probably 10 to 12 in there at one point. They took them out. They are coming back, but they're not back yet. But the Plaza still has 1 or 2, I believe. So if you really want to play Silver Strike, go check out the Plaza. It's not very far from Four Queens. All right. Let's see. Jesus Bramson says, question, I tend to play newer machines because I sense they are more up to date with payout cycles. Is this just not accurate? No, that is not accurate at all. A lot of people feel that, and it makes logical sense, right? New games are on the floor. How do we get people hooked on playing the new games, right? We just increase the payouts, right? And then as soon as they get hooked on them, we decrease the payouts. This has been a saying that people have had for a very, very long time. But this does not occur inside of a casino, okay? Just because it's a new machine doesn't mean that it's paying out better than an old machine, okay? They put them in more prominent locations, sometimes due to contractual agreements with the manufacturer, but sometimes because they just want to highlight that there's a new game right there. You know, it's something new. It keeps people coming in. If a casino never gets any new games in, it can't really attract those newer players, right? So they have to keep trying new things and putting new games out there. So they put them right in front of your face. But they don't just increase the payouts. It's just an illusion, right? And it's probably because you've heard somebody else say that, and then your brain starts to latch onto that. It's called confirmation bias. Your brain latches onto it, and then you seem to notice that, right? And that's just, we are all built that way. We are all wired to behave that way. That's just how it works, right? And so, but no, the true fact is they don't do that. They don't just set it high to get you in the door, to get you to play it, and then, you know, turn the odds way down so that next time you come and play it, you get wrecked. No, that's not the way it happens. So, a very good question. Thanks for your comment. All right, let's see what else we got here. Just going through some. Yeah, Vicky's right. The myth is the new games are tighter. This is the opposite, right? Because they were trying to recoup the cost. So this is the opposite saying that we were just talking about. But yeah, that is a myth too. Here's just a general PSA for you guys, and this is why this industry is such a mess. Because manufacturers and because casinos and because compliance officers and gaming regulations and all these people are not talking directly to the public. People like us have to, right? And so how are we any different than people spouting out all these myths? And we're not necessarily not any different. It's just that we have the knowledge and the experience behind us, okay? I do hope that changes. I really do. I'm pushing the industry very hard. I'm sure a lot of you saw that video where I was looking for ideas on what the common things that you guys would like to hear out of these industry experts. And we are certainly going to be approaching them with that, okay? But to not get too far off on a tangent here, it's difficult because there is not one good source of this information. Myths will exist. That's just a matter of fact. And the thing is a lot of these myths make logical sense, right? I'm sure you've heard the one where, oh, you should play in the morning because there's not a lot of people playing, so they are going to increase the odds because they need to, entice those people that are early morning players. I mean, or you hear, well, they lower the odds on the weekend when there's more crowds because all the California people are coming into Vegas, so they lower all the odds because those people are going to play regardless, right? So let's try to be greedy and take as much money as we can out of them on the weekend. And then when the locals come back in on Monday, we'll raise the odds again, Does that make logical sense? It does. It makes business logical sense to do that. But it can't be done that way, okay? There are reasons, there are so many restrictions in this industry. I mean, it is so heavily regulated to prevent all of this stuff from happening, but nobody really comes out and says it, okay? And so people run with these things because they sound logical. They do make sense. And I fell for a lot of these too, guys, for a long time. So I'm in your boat. I hear you. But you always have to keep an open mind. Even though something makes sense, is it really true? Like the volume thing or rubbing the screen or fast stopping, all these things, it seems like it may make sense because it's happened to you before where you've turned the volume up and then the spin after that you get a hand pay. And so your brain associates that. But that's not actually what occurred. It was just random coincidence, right? So just be open to things. And we certainly don't want you to make betting decisions based on these things that you've heard unless you've done your own research. Again, we say this all the time on this channel too. Don't just believe us, right? Take what you've heard from us and then go try to link it up with other industry experts that are saying the same thing, right? And if you start to see a common thread, if you go and ask ChatGPT or any of these AI engines how slot machines work, you're going to hear a message that's very common with what we say here. And that's what you need to do to answer it for yourself, okay? We are not dictators here. We're just sharing our experience and our knowledge, but you have to make the ultimate step to decide what is right for you. But please, don't do anything. Don't do betting decisions on anything until you check it out first, right? Because we don't want to see you in trouble. Just like the guy that said he has a way to predict a jackpot in the next 10 spins. Sounds suspicious, right? Because just think about it. Like, use your brain just a little bit. If somebody knew that a jackpot was coming in the next 10 pulls, why is he not in the casino 24/7? And why would he do a short on it, right? There's a reason for that. It doesn't work all the time, right? So just, you got to use your brain. If it sounds too good to be true, there's so many scams in this world right now. You got to be aware of this stuff and think about it, look it up, do your own validation, and then make your decision. All right. Off my soapbox for now. Let's see. All right, let's take a couple more here. Oh, low rolling's good. What was the number one response people were looking to get answers for from the video? So it was actually tied. There were two things. One, payback percentage, and two, volatility. Out of those two, volatility is the most likely to occur, and that's what I'm probably the one I'm going to go for, because getting payback percentages posted is going to be a very large uphill task. But volatility, I think we can make happen. And in my world, what I would love, and maybe we can make this happen, and I'm going to say this on a live stream, and somebody will probably steal it, but I'm going to say it anyway, is a QR code on the side of every machine that you guys can scan and learn everything you wanted to know about that game. The volatility rating, low, very low, medium, very high, whatever, and the odds of the top jackpot, right? And gameplay rules. That's what I want to see. I think that would be great for all of us. You'll be more educated. You know what you're getting into when you sit down to play a machine. It's good stuff, right? So we will see. Uphill battle in this industry, though, but we're going to do the best we can. All right. Let's see what else we got here. I'll just take a few more because I'm running out of steam here. Let's see. Yeah, Irene's right. Staying downtown is nice because you can walk to all the casinos, and they're all different, but they have this. It has the old Vegas vibe, which I love. Right. The problem with the Strip is it's getting very expensive. Number one, they're taking out all the old school games. Number two, number three, it's always way too crowded. Okay, all of those things have made me want to start staying downtown more, right? There's not really any. I mean, Circa's probably the nicest facility there, but the fact that you can walk around all those casinos and the old town feeling of Vegas, which I miss, right? You can get that down there. And so I want you guys to go and explore sometimes. Don't always go to the Las Vegas Strip. You know, go downtown and check out those casinos. You may be surprised. Some of your old games that you remember playing in the past are still out there, right? How cool is that? And Mike has a point. I believe volatility info can be found for each game on the manufacturer's website. Well, not all of them. And unfortunately, IGT used to put this in all their marketing materials, which is available to the public, but they're really not doing that much anymore. And I wish they would. Like, I want it to be standardized. There should be a volatility. There's already a volatility index, guys. It's on every par sheet, which is the instructions to how a game plays out, which is not available to the public, by the way. But there is a volatility index. Now, each manufacturer has a different calculation for this, and that will have to be solved too. But I think if you just use terms like very low, low, medium, like stuff people will understand, then I think, it could be beneficial. I wish they would all publish every single game and show you the volatility of it, but unfortunately, it's all over the place. Some manufacturers are better than others. Ainsworth is pretty good at it. IGT, like I said, used to be really good at it, but it's really spotty now. All right. Yeah, I saw some of you had had good comments about it. I don't think they would ever do this, but the volatility would be the different colors of the buttons, like the Bet Max button and the spin button, and you could, if it was green, it was low in volatility. If it's red, it's high volatility. But I don't think they'll ever do that because the button colors are very much in line with the theme of the game, and I don't think they would ever do that. Let's see. Yeah, this low rolling says we need more transparency from the manufacturers. That's exactly why I did that video, because I've been thinking about that for a long time, and I'm like, why hasn't this industry changed? Other industries have changed. Why can't this one? Like, what's with all the secrets? Like, and eventually they're going to be called out, right? Like, I honestly feel, and I kind of alluded to this in the video, but I feel that the casino industry wants uneducated players. I really do believe that, and I don't think that's very fair. Um, I People always say that I'm a shill for the casino and stuff like that. No, I'm a shill whenever it makes sense. Like if people are attacking the process, well, I'm going to call them out and say, no, that's not how the process works. It's very regulated. Okay, that's not how it works. This is how it works. But I will not defend the casinos and the casino industry for not being transparent. I think that they should be. I want more educated players because I honestly feel, and I think you guys are proof of this, that educated players are more likely to return to that casino. I mean, how many times have you heard this? Don't go play at Aria. Those machines are super tight. Okay, people will come out of there and tell their friends that, and then what happens? Their friends never go to Aria because they assume that that casino has tightened the machines, even though it's not true. So it's actually in the casino best interest to be very open and transparent about this. And so it's one of those I scratch my head on. Like, I want to change. I want to change the industry. And I think if we get big enough and you guys get loud enough, we can start to make a difference. I think we can. Hopefully. We will see. Yeah, they're secretive because they are very greedy. Like, every business is greedy, right? Every business wants money. That's the goal, right? Is to make money. That's what businesses are there for ultimately. And so I can't say the casinos are extra greedy. They're just in the business of making money off of people, right? And sometimes off of people with addictions. They do some things to help with that, but probably not enough. They should be able to detect addiction and do something about it, which I think is coming, by the way. I think artificial intelligence is going to play a role in that. We will see how that plays out. But I think casinos would be way more greedy if there wasn't compliance and control, right? You can only imagine what the payback percentages would be on machines if there was no compliance overseeing any of it, right? It could be crazy. So, I mean, it is what it is. That's the casino industry. People get pissed off at the casino when they lose, but it's really not the casino's fault, guys. Think about it. The reason you lost is because you played a game of chance and you didn't get lucky. And maybe you went into the ATM and got more money out and stuff. Now, I could blame them a little bit for making it very easy to get money out, but ultimately, you're the one that lost, not the casino. They didn't do anything to make you lose. You walked in there. You know it's a game of chance, right? So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap it up tonight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We had almost 300 people at one point, so we really do appreciate you guys coming by. Make sure you hit that subscribe and thumbs up on the way out if you don't mind. And if you do still want to sign up for the G2E event, again, we are limiting it to 100 people to get the free goodie bag, and it's a good one, guys. But you have to be present to get it, okay? It's going to have your name on it. So go to gsgs.live/G2E. We only have 14 more to give away this October 7th event at 7 p.m. at Slots of Fun at Circus Circus. So, and also, guys, don't forget our website at gamblesmart.net. We have all of our merch on there. We have our new gamble boxes, timer boxes there, button blocker, and also home slot machines. If you're interested in buying those, we got those for sale. These are the ones like I have behind me where I refurbish and sell to you guys. And so if you're interested in any of that, check out our website, and we hope to see you very soon for Monday's show. All right, guys, as always, gamble smart, gamble safe. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to our mods, Susan, Kevin, and also Proud Monkey. All right, guys, take it easy. Have a good night. Bye.